Hello, my name is Lorrie. Welcome to my channel, We Are Quilters. Today we are putting together blocks. These are the blocks from last week that I showed you how to make a crazy block. I am trimming those up. There were only two that needed extra added to it. Here they all are untrimmed on my board. And here are the same blocks in the same order, all trimmed up and ready to go. Today we are doing a crumb version without a pattern. And I have on the back of a cutting mat, I have drawn, it's my mat, I can do what I want. I have drawn an outline of a 6.5 inch block. Yes, I accidentally drew the block size a little bit too big and fingernail polish remover wouldn't take that Sharpie off. So I just decided that to make that a label box. It's okay, I can do what I want, my cutting mat. So I'm just filling in with pieces. Normally, if I were making 10 at a time, I would dump that whole big bag into a bin and root and play. But I just want to make one to show you how easy this is. It is a very freeing process. There is no right, there is no wrong. You can do whatever you want. And this time, this version, I am not using paper. Ooh, look at this chunk. Ooh, ostentatious. Big enough to make 4.5 inch blocks. But I just can't kind of root through and lay things out, so I cover up that square pattern plus just cover it up. And after I cut this off, oh, there's a little piece of that's going in the garbage. It's too thin to even do anything with. Yeah, it's not worth keeping. Into the scrap heap to make fire starters. And I just keep right on going. I'm cutting the salvage off of this strip. It looks like this block's mostly going to be strips, but it could be anything I want it to be. You've seen me do this before, way back in like October or November when I did crumb blocks. This is just bigger versions of crumb blocks. You could probably do this without ironing or pressing your pieces, but it's genetically ingrained in me to iron things flat first. After sewing some of the pieces together, I decided that I wanted to straighten out some of these pieces or make them a little bit smaller because I had oversized and overlapped when I was laying things out. It is very difficult to trim sometimes with a camera stuck in your face. And this one I decided I was just going to let it be what it was. Earlier you saw me use the slicey dicey ruler. Now I am using, I think this is a 12.5 inch ruler. It has that nice orange 1/2 inch seam allowance on it. So I'm going for a 6.5 inch block because that's what all my other crazy blocks are. And I lay it on there, and I lay it on the 6-inch line because that's actually 6.5 as long as I keep those 2 edges. Now, because the camera is in my way, I am just going along the top edge. My original intent was to do 2 edges at a time, but this ruler is a little bit bigger than my space, and I just wanted to show you a different way and a different ruler that you could use. I've also sometimes used the lines on my mat. There's lots of ways, and even if you don't have a big ruler, you can use your regular ruler and figure out a way to trim up blocks. Anything that is a little bit bigger piece, I will use in the next block I make, because I have been making blocks in sets of 10, so I will need to make 9 more of these black blocks from this bag to go into that quilt, because I am doing rows of 10. So look at that nice big chunk there on the side. Fantastic. It will definitely go in the scrap bin right there above the ruler. Look at that. Ooh. I said earlier about the 1/2-inch seam allowance. Well, it's actually 1/4 and 1/4 to add up to a 1/2 inch, so that it takes care of seam allowances on all 4 sides at one time. Are you ready for the magic? Presto, change-o, rearrange-o, and ta-da, there is the block. Now it doesn't lay flat, and that is an outline, so I know it's perfect because I measured it with the ruler. But there it is. Now, if you don't remember, my preferred method is to use scrap paper, a little bit oversized, and then trim things down, so it's easier for me. Otherwise, I make these wild big blocks like I did this last crumb block. So I'm cutting I have that 6.5-inch block. I'm cutting scrap paper. I'm not measuring it. I'm just cutting it a little bit bigger than the block. And the next couple blocks, you know that I'm going to do these as foundation piecing, because I don't mind, and it makes it more accurate for me. And that is what I prefer. Because look at those little tiny pieces. I'll just be dumping all that into a bin and playing and playing and playing. And there's some of the older pieces from the block I just made. Woohoo! It will be beautiful. So why not make life a little crazier and try one of these 2 methods? Make some crazy blocks so you have something to embellish. Join me for Blab Fest Friday to hear my motives. You know, my motive for becoming a YouTube star. Oh, Marion Nugget's back. And the wildlife are putting on a show here at Animal House. Thanks for watching.